For decades, walking has been seen as the safest and most reliable way to stay healthy after 75. It feels simple, natural, and familiar. Many seniors rely on their daily walks as a way to stay active, believing that as long as they keep moving, they are protecting their strength and independence. It becomes part of a routine, a quiet walk in the morning, a few steps around the house, or a short stroll in the evening. But behind this revolutionary habit, there is often a deeper concern: the fear of slowing down, the worry that one day getting out of a chair might feel harder, the silent thought of losing balance, or worse, falling and not being able to recover. These are not just physical concerns, they carry emotional weight. Independence means everything at this stage of life. So walking becomes more than just exercise. It becomes a sense of control, a way to feel, I'm still doing something right. And that's exactly why what you're about to discover may feel surprising, because sometimes the thing we trust the most isn't giving us everything our body truly needs anymore. But here's something most people aren't told. Walking alone, especially after 75, may not be enough to protect your body the way you think it does. In fact, when it becomes the only form of movement, it can quietly place repeated stress on the same joints, your knees, your hips, and even your lower spine. Over time, this constant, one-directional motion can lead to stiffness, reduced muscle support, and a gradual weakening of the very areas you're trying to protect. It doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly, almost invisibly, until simple movements begin to feel heavier than they used to. Take John, for example, a 78-year-old who never missed his daily walk. Every morning, same route, same pace. It gave him comfort. But after a few months, he started noticing a dull ache in his knees, and getting up from his chair felt harder than before. He was staying active, yet somehow he was getting weaker. This is where many seniors feel confused. If walking is good, why doesn't it feel like enough anymore? And that's where a small but powerful shift can make all the difference. What many people don't realize is that after 75, the body needs a different kind of movement. One that doesn't just keep you active but actually rebuilds strength, improves balance, and protects your joints at the same time. And this is where a simple, clinically supported exercise begins to stand out. Orthopedic specialists and rehabilitation experts have been quietly recommending this movement for years, especially for older adults who want to stay independent without putting unnecessary strain on their bodies. Unlike walking, which mainly repeats the same motion over and over, this exercise activates multiple muscle groups together, helping your body feel more stable, supported, and responsive. It's gentle, controlled, and designed to work with your body, not against it. That's why it's often used in recovery programs and senior fitness routines where safety matters most. What makes it even more interesting is how quickly many people begin to notice small but meaningful changes. Standing feels easier, balance improves, and everyday movements start to feel more natural again. And once you see how it works, you'll understand why so many experts consider it a smarter choice at this stage of life. What makes this movement so effective is how it works with your body in a more complete way. Instead of relying on repetitive forward motion like walking, it gently engages the muscles that often weaken with age, especially those around the hips, thighs, core, and lower back. These are the muscles that support your balance, help you stand up, and keep you steady as you move through your day. At the same time, it reduces pressure on your joints by distributing effort more evenly. Your knees and hips are no longer carrying the full load alone. This creates a safer, more supported movement that actually strengthens the areas most at risk of decline. There's also a quiet benefit happening beneath the surface. As your muscles activate, blood flow improves, bringing oxygen and nutrients to areas that need repair and support. This helps reduce stiffness and can make movement feel smoother over time. A woman named Linda, 76, started doing this exercise after struggling with balance. Within a few weeks, she noticed she could stand longer without holding onto furniture, and getting up from a chair felt easier than it had in years. Small changes like these can make everyday life feel possible again, and that's where real progress begins. Getting started with this movement is simple, and you don't need any special equipment. All you need is a stable surface nearby, like a wall, a sturdy chair, or a countertop, something you can lightly hold for support if needed. Stand with your feet about hip-width apart, keeping your posture upright but relaxed. Your shoulders should stay loose, not tense, and your gaze forward to help maintain balance. The key here is not speed, but control. Every movement should feel steady and comfortable, never rushed or forced. If something feels too difficult, you can always adjust your range of motion or take a short pause. There's no pressure to get it perfect right away. What matters most is that you feel safe while doing it. This approach is designed to work gently with your body, reducing strain on your joints and lowering the risk of injury. Once you feel stable, you're ready to move forward. Begin by standing tall with your feet firmly placed on the ground, about hip-width apart. If needed, keep one hand lightly resting on a chair or wall for support. Slowly shift your weight onto one leg while keeping your body upright and steady. Then gently lift the other foot just a few inches off the floor. There's no need to raise it high. Even a small lift is enough to activate the right muscles. As you hold this position, keep your breathing slow and natural. Try not to hold your breath. Focus on staying relaxed through your shoulders and keeping your core slightly engaged to support your balance. Hold for about 8 to 10 seconds, then slowly place your foot back down. Switch sides and repeat. Start with 5 repetitions on each leg and move at your own pace. The goal isn't perfection. It's steady, controlled movement that helps your body feel more stable with each attempt. One of the most common mistakes people make with this movement is trying to lift the leg too high or rushing through the hold. It might feel like doing more will give faster results, but in reality, it often leads to losing balance or putting unnecessary strain on the joints. Another mistake is tightening the shoulders or holding the breath, which can make the body feel tense instead of stable. A gentleman named Richard, 79, experienced this firsthand. When he first tried the exercise, he would lift his foot too high and rush to finish each repetition. It left him feeling unsteady and frustrated. But after slowing down, keeping his posture upright, and focusing on small, controlled movements, he began to notice a real difference. Within a couple of weeks, standing felt easier, and his confidence improved. Sometimes, small adjustments can completely change how your body responds, and that's where real progress begins. One of the most common mistakes people make with this movement is trying to lift the leg too high or rushing through the hold. It might feel like doing more will give faster results, but in reality, it often leads to losing balance or putting unnecessary strain on the joints. Another mistake is tightening the shoulders or holding the breath, which can make the body feel tense instead of stable. A gentleman named Richard, 79, experienced this firsthand. When he first tried the exercise, he would lift his foot too high and rush to finish each repetition. It left him feeling unsteady and frustrated. But after slowing down, keeping his posture upright, and focusing on small, controlled movements, he began to notice a real difference. Within a couple of weeks, standing felt easier, and his confidence improved. Sometimes, small adjustments can completely change how your body responds, and that's where real progress begins. What makes this movement truly valuable is how it strengthens the body in ways that directly support your daily life. It targets the muscles that help you stand, walk, and stay balanced, especially those around your hips, thighs, and core. These are the same muscles that naturally weaken with age, often leading to instability and a higher risk of falls. Research from institutions like Harvard Medical School and the Mayo Clinic has shown that simple balance-based exercises can significantly reduce fall risk in older adults. In some cases, regular practice has been linked to nearly a 40% improvement in stability and coordination over time. That's not just a number, it means moving with more confidence and less fear. There's also a noticeable effect on your joints. Because the movement is controlled and low impact, it helps support your knees and hips without placing extra pressure on them. Instead of wearing your joints down, it encourages them to move more smoothly. Over time, these small improvements add up, making everyday movements feel easier, steadier, and far more comfortable than before. Beyond the physical changes, something even more meaningful begins to shift: how you feel within yourself. As your balance improves and your body feels more stable, a quiet sense of confidence starts to return. Movements that once felt uncertain become smoother, and that constant worry about falling slowly fades into the background. This also has a powerful effect on your mood. When your body feels capable, your mind feels lighter. You're more willing to move, to stay active, and to engage with the world around you. Even your focus improves because your brain is actively working with your body during each movement. A woman named Helen, 75, had stopped going for her evening walks after a small fall shook her confidence. But after practicing this exercise regularly, she began to trust her balance again. A few weeks later, she stepped outside on her own, something she hadn't done in months. Sometimes, regaining confidence is the biggest step forward of all. What makes this movement even more meaningful is how easily it fits into everyday life. It's not something you have to do alone. Many seniors practice it in small groups, community centers, or even through simple online sessions from home. It can become a shared routine, something to look forward to rather than a task to complete. A grandfather named James, 80, started doing this exercise in his living room while his grandchildren watched. Soon, they began copying his movements, turning it into a small daily moment of connection and laughter. Sometimes, the simplest habits don't just improve your health, they bring people closer together. As your body becomes more comfortable with the movement, you can begin to progress in simple and gentle ways. You might start by holding the position a few seconds longer or adding a couple of extra repetitions on each side. There's no need to rush. Even small increases can make a meaningful difference over time. Another way to build confidence is by noticing how your body feels during everyday activities. Standing up from a chair, walking across a room, or maintaining balance while turning. These small moments become your progress markers. Consistency matters more than intensity. Doing this exercise regularly, even for a few minutes each day, will bring better results than doing too much all at once. It's also important to be patient with yourself. Some days will feel easier than others, and that's completely normal. What you're building here isn't just strength, it's stability you can rely on every day. What this simple movement offers goes far beyond exercise. It helps you feel steadier, stronger, and more in control of your body again. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds you that improvement is always possible, no matter your age. There's a man named Peter, 82, who started this exercise with hesitation. At first, he could barely hold his balance for a few seconds, but he stayed consistent, taking it one day at a time. After 6 weeks, he noticed something remarkable. He was moving with more ease, standing taller, and even walking felt lighter and more confident. That's the power of small, steady effort. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to start. And once you do, your body begins to respond in ways that might surprise you. Your next step doesn't have to be big. It just has to be yours.